It takes a world-class staff to support a program as intricate as the one found at InnerBalance Health Center. Our team's combined expertise in medicine, fitness, nutrition, and psychology means that our clients are given the best chance at success in every aspect of recovery. Dr. Roger Bilica, Medical Director of InnerBalance Health Center, is the former Chief of Medical Operations at NASA, where he was in charge of all of the health and medical aspects of space flight and astronaut health care. After 10 years, he left NASA and opened his own clinic in Fort Collins, specializing in functional, nutritional, and environmental medicine.
Biochemical repair is a key part of the InnerBalance program in that while looking at the emotional components, while looking at lifestyle components, etc., it's also looking at the underlying biochemical, physiological, physical causes that can set someone up for developing an addiction. So we're looking at things such as blood sugar metabolism, hypoglycemia, food allergies, thyroid and adrenal hormone status, toxicities, heavy metals, nutrient deficiencies, and then some very unique causes of addiction such as histamines and pyrols that are things that are tested for and then when found, corrected.
The way that we really determine if a person has these biochemical imbalances is through, we do it two ways. One is by laboratory testing. We use a lot of lab tests, blood, urine, saliva, stool samples. For example, we can measure through blood, we can measure the levels of amino acids in a person's system, like glutamine, tyrosine, tryptophan. All of these we know are important. They have to cross the blood-brain barrier and they convert to neurotransmitters in the brain. So if they're low in these amino acids, we're going to assume that they're low in these neurotransmitters and we can treat accordingly. The stool sample, we can look at the gut and we can see how healthy or unhealthy it is. It may have parasites, it might have a candida yeast overgrowth, it may be low in hydrochloric acid, and so we can again get the stomach healthy and treating according to these lab tests. When we get into other tests, we not only use the lab tests, but we use symptoms. Example, there's certain symptoms for high histamine in the brain. We can measure that through urine, or that one's blood, we measure through blood, and if they have high histamines in the blood. But then we also look at symptoms. Symptoms for high histamine are if you're a youngster, you're a high risk taker, if you have high sex drive or high libido, if you had allergies, and then you're prone to a drug and alcohol dependency or an addiction. And so there's certain symptoms, racing thoughts, difficulty sleeping. These are all symptoms of high histamine. Cryptopyrroluria, we check through lab tests, but we also can look at symptoms for that. And one of the major symptoms is an inner tension. And there are other symptoms that go along with it. There's, I think, 15 symptoms. So we can check the symptoms against the lab test to make sure we're getting an accurate reading of a person's biochemical imbalances. And we can do that with a lot of things.
Diet plays a huge role in the InnerBalance program, and rightfully so, because the way a body's biochemistry is controlled, the way their genetics are actually expressed, is determined by the food they eat. It's a powerful concept, and you really are what you eat, and the nutrition that you eat really can control your biochemical balance, your neurotransmitters, your hormone balance, everything about your health or your disease can be managed through nutrition. So it's a huge part of the program and can create amazingly positive results. Traditional rehab programs that do not address diet are really missing out on one of the most powerful tools for health. And so programs that don't address diet and let their patients continue to eat sugar and junk and caffeine, etc., are basically continuing to perpetuate and promote the biochemical imbalances, the blood sugar fluctuations, the depletion of key nutrients, and so they're actually perpetuating the problem.
The way that we, in depression, anxiety, and cravings for our clients, is that we understand that these imbalances that are going on in their body, mainly in their brain, there are imbalances of neurotransmitters, dopamine, serotonin, GABA, and we address these through using pharmaceutical-grade amino acids. The alcoholic and addicts, especially when you get into looking at drugs like amphetamines, cocaine, meth, these drugs just deplete the dopamine receptors, and they can take weeks to regenerate if the addict doesn't continue to go back to the cocaine or the meth. But in that period, they're feeling restless, irritable, discontented, depressed. And so what we do is we give these amino acids either through capsules and powders, or we can actually use IVs of amino acids to replenish these neurotransmitters much faster to help a person feel better quicker and end these the cravings and depression. One of the big areas of alcohol craving comes from the GABA receptors. GABA is a neurotransmitter that when someone's deficient or low in this receptor, they feel anxiety. And we know this, they've studied this, that's where a lot of these medications like Valiums, Libriums, benzodiazepines work in this area of the GABA receptors to reduce anxiety. Well, we use the natural GABA itself, again through capsules or through IV drips, and we can use glutamine, converts to GABA very nicely in the brain. And when we use the glutamine, it just eliminates cravings for alcohol because we're reducing the anxiety. And our belief is that the majority of the cravings come from anxiety. For serotonin, if that's low in a person's neurotransmitters, then we use tryptophan and 5-HTP. These pharmaceutical grade chemicals they're natural, and they can replace the serotonin very quickly and alleviate the depression very nicely. So we use a lot of that in our program.
When you create the proper balance in the brain, when you restore the depleted chemicals, the cravings will go away, the mood disorders will go away, the energy will return. The person will not only be free of their addiction, they will be healthy again, they will feel good and have good energy.